What was that video I was gonna watch? I think it was like Opium. There was a video on YouTube. It was like, oh, here it is. OpiumBaby, the founder of Opium label. When I saw this title, I was like, did he actually found? Is that how you say founded? Did he actually find the Opium label? Or was it just Cardi and then like didn't during the Glock 40 Spaz beef, or when he said 00 Glock 40, right? He was making it seem like he was signing Glock to Opium. Didn't like Homicide Bino and them come out and say, nah, this dude's barely even Opium or something? It seems like he actually is, like he's around Cardi and he's around Destroy Lonely and them. So maybe they're just messing with him and being like, yo, stop trying to spread our clout, because Glock obviously didn't sign to Cardi. He signed to Columbia. But how do you, if they were saying that, how does that translate to him being the founder of the label? It don't make sense.
Many of you will remember when Playboi Carti and his friend were arrested in the April.
This is the new you dig.
2020. After being pulled over for expired tags in his Lamborghini, the officers searched the vehicle
in his Lamborghini,
found 3 unspecified guns and 12 bags of illegal substances. But after they got taken to jail, Carti was pretty much let off free and released 24 hours later. And that was thanks to his friend, who took all the gun and the majority of the drug charges. This is Jalen Tucker. From a child Hollywood star to serving a hefty prison sentence, here is how he helped Carti form his Opium label, and also pretty much...
He did take the charges, which is respectable, okay? Because Cardi was the one making all the bread. So I was thinking about the other day, if you're the friend of a rapper, but you have to really believe in them, like you're their manager. If you gotta take 5-6 years for a rapper who you don't even know is gonna blow up, but in this situation, Cardi already did blow up. So like Cardi could obviously, when he gets out of jail, if he were to serve 5-6 years, like take him under his wing and still let him live a good life. But imagine doing it for an underground rapper. That's crazy.
Much saved Carti's career. Jalen Tucker, who is also known as JX Creased or OpiumBaby, was born in the 19th.
I also don't know if he saved Cardi's career, because how long was Jalen in, or Jay, whoever it is, how long was he in jail? Like for 48 hours, less than? So it's not like Cardi would probably have been there that much longer, if at all, like the same amount. So, and I think Jalen's out of jail right now, right? I'm for sure he is. So Cardi's career would have been fine.
20th of July in 1988. Jalen was born in Columbia, South Carolina, but grew up in Atlanta, Georgia. Now, unlike many other people I've made videos on, where they're out trying to make their music or their brand blow up from the streets of Atlanta, Jay actually took a very different route. From 6 years old, Jay would be taking part in training and theatrical practices as a hobby. Basically, he was training to be an actor. And eventually, his mother took him and his brothers and moved to pursue Jay's acting career. His mother made the sacrifice of moving her whole family to Los Angeles in the hope of reaching Jay's dreams. And his mother believed in him, as she said since he was a child, he's always had the natural ability to entertain. And since moving to LA, he's had a pretty successful career. He would feature in a couple of smaller shows and short films until he eventually got to play in one episode of the Disney show Girl Meets World. Now,
this reminds me of Drake, because you know how Drake was, what was he, Degrassi? And so he actually grew up like, I have a coworker who grew up in the same neighborhood as Drake when he was a kid. And so a lot of people say like, oh, Drake was actually, like Drake stans, they say he was actually poor and he like started from the bottom like he said in that song. But nah, bro, he was actually like, he actually had some money back. He was a famous actor, right? So this reminds me of that, because OpiumBaby or Jalen or whatever, like he's in these shows, like he's at least minorly successful. He could still be, you know, hood and everything, but now he went straight vamp. It's just funny when people go from suburbs to the hood afterward just to get their credibility.
Now, as he gained a little bit of more fame from acting, he would also make friends with some interesting people. Around 2015, 2016, he would be spotted with the likes of Madison Beer, Ian Connor, D Savage, and Playboy Carti. And you're probably wondering, how did he meet these people? Well, Jay would first become friends with someone named John Ross. Many of you may know him these days from his brand called
Bro looks like 14.
Seventh Heaven, and he was also a very popular streetwear personality, I guess you could call him, back around 2015. So John Ross's story is, he's basically the son of this very rich label executive, and he's basically just a kid living in LA who's into the streetwear scene at the time. You could kind of compare it to the whole Opium thing going on currently, but back then it was less emo Opium like it is now, and was more kind of skating streetwear such as Supreme.
It was more like hype beast,
Palace, and stuff like that. So John Ross will be buying these clothes, posting his fits on Instagram, and eventually...
You saying, how is he rich but doesn't have YouTube Premium? Bruh, how you get rich is by not spending money on stupid shit. Literally. So, you gotta learn. You don't spend your money right when you get it.
He would be discovered by Ian Connor, and then from then on, obviously he would be hanging around more famous people at the time, a lot of the upcoming rappers and a lot of the ASAP mob people. Now, I'm not exactly sure how John Ross and Jay actually became friends. My guess is they were just both teenagers into streetwear and just wanted a friend group to kind of do stuff with. Now, Jalen and John Ross would be spending a lot of time with Ian Connor.
See, that's how you know, no offense, but OpiumBaby wasn't like hood, because he was chilling with like streetwear people before Cardi, and then again they go straight vamp. It's just, I don't know, man. A lot of Cardi fans be thinking like these are real killers and blah blah blah. It's like, the proof is right here. They were not.
Learning about streetwear and fashion, as at the time Ian Connor was working with the likes of Kanye West, Wiz Khalifa, and even at one point starred Kylie Jenner. And they would also be around Carti and a lot of the ASAP mob, where they would be in studio sessions and on music video shoots, learning how to best do it. And during this time...
You said nobody thinks that? Are you kidding me? I've had people like argue with me in DMs after a video where I say Cardi's from the suburbs, because Ruby Rose literally says that. And it's gonna happen again now that I'm saying it. Ruby Rose literally came out and said like he's from a good family.
Carti and Jay became super close friends. Jay even had an Instagram post with a picture of him and Carti, captioned "Brothers Keepers." Now, moving closer to 2018, Carti pretty much stopped hanging out with his friend group. He was no longer friends with Ian Connor, no longer friends with D Savage, and no longer friends with Uno the Activist. I actually couldn't find any real reasons. Apparently there was supposed beef, but there was nothing official.
Yes, like he cool, like don't get me wrong, Playboy Carti is cool, he's fire, he makes good music. I'ma shit on him.
And that worked out so well, huh?
Friend group, I'm pretty sure the only ones that really...
Nah, Homicide Gang, that's actually some hood shit. So Cardi got some, he signed them as basically, if not that I know anything about this because I'm not hood at all, but he signed some actual street people. So now he's got like backup from it. He's got like security by signing them, right?
He stuck around with Carti was Jay. Jay's last...
And he gets that street credibility as a rapper, which we all know, not that you need, but it helps.
His appearance as an actor would be in 2018 in the film Bad Tutor. As past 2018 is when the Opium label would begin to develop and Jay would play a big part in it. The Opium label would begin to form in 2019 as Carti did an interview with Culture Kings posted on the 15th of January in 2020 where he said he has been working on a label.
Yeah. But right now what I'm trying to do is just expand. Getting ready to like put my label together.
That's what's up.
It's not even me.
But before we move on to all of that, I want to go over when Carti and Jay got pulled over with guns and drugs. So on the 3rd of April in 2020, Carti was driving his Lamborghini with Jay in the passenger seat. Carti was pulled over for expired tags, and the officer on the scene said that he smelled marijuana coming from the vehicle. So they ended up doing a search where they found a couple of guns and loads of illegal substances. Now if you...
What are those, like packs of weed, lean, some guns and magazines? Is that cash over here? What is that? I guess it was just weed, bro. Like, that really isn't that big deal. I mean, the lean, I guess, yeah, because it's prescription drugs. I don't know what class that is, but it really isn't all too bad, you know?
You guys know, when there is a celebrity kind of moving around with illegal stuff, basically their group is supposed to take all the charges, which is what happened here. Because after they both got arrested, Carti was literally released 24 hours later. I think he took some of the drug charges, but everything else went on to Jay. Jay was facing up to a maximum of 50 years in prison, but of course he didn't do that. He only got around 6 months and then he was let off free. But obviously
Oh, so it was 6 months. So that's what I'm saying. If Cardi actually got the 6 months, that really wouldn't have been that big of a deal. In fact, that probably would have helped his credibility. He would have been like, Kodak got out of jail. People are like, oh, Cardi's real, bro. He actually served. Everything he talks about in his raps is actually real.
This probably put a lot of respect and trust into Jay from Carti's perspective, and it's probably one of the big reasons why he's still friends with him now, because Carti cut off the majority of the people he used to know when he was still underground. During this time, as Carti was working on his music, is when Jay would work as an A&R, finding upcoming rappers, but also as a creative, helping Carti with the rollout of Whole Lotta Red. And as I mentioned before, during this 2015 to 2018 timeframe, when Jay was hanging...
I mean, I feel like Cardi helps him more, to be honest. I feel like everybody around Cardi, we know this, his affiliates, they get hella clout just because he's around him. Now, I'm not saying they don't help him behind the scenes, maybe get a coffee or two for him, maybe go pick up gummy worms from the gas station and all that, but like, how easy or how hard do you really think it is to promote Whole Lotta Red back in the day? Like, all you had to do was post like red spray paint on the ground and fans are going to start dick eating me like, oh, does that mean next 2 weeks? Blah, 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 blah. And so, and like, again, Cardi's label and cosign is so strong that he could sign a llama and it would still go up. Like he could have an AI rapper and make that shit cool. So they like... the A&R's role really isn't that hard, in my opinion, for him.
Around in LA, hanging around with John Ross, Ian Connor, and a bunch of other famous people at the time, he was learning a lot from going to studio sessions and music video shoots, meaning he had a lot of knowledge in the creative side of the hip-hop scene, which is what made him very useful for the Opium label. Now, before I move on to the release of Whole Lotta Red and how Jay helped with the rollout, I want to first go over how he discovered Destroy Lonely. The story is, he would preview the snippet of Lone's biggest song today, Bane, which got him the attention of Opium fans. Jalen would then DM Lone, saying that he likes his music, and so does Carti. And soon Lone would receive a phone call from Carti himself,
But wait, we're skipping over the whole Ken Carson situation, because I feel like Lone was after Ken, right? So Ken was the first artist on Opium, and if you're truly the founder of Opium, you would have found Ken Carson to sign. You would have A&R'd that whole situation for Cardi. But Lone, like, yeah, it's definitely a good pick. Don't get me wrong. He's probably made a lot of money off Destroy Lonely, but when did he actually found Opium?
He offered advice. He told Lone to keep his head straight because he has been in his position before. He then said anything to just help a young to keep going the right way and not crashing out and falling, going left. After this, Destroy Lonely would attend a couple studio sessions with Carti to pretty much test him if he's the right fit for Opium. And then a couple months later, Lone would officially sign to Opium. More recently, Jay would try to sign Glock 40 Spaz, but this pretty much backfired. Jay would first text Glock 40 Spaz, which Glock 40 Spaz then screenshotted and posted on his story saying, "Does this mean anything?" Pretty much clowning him. Jay would then tweet "OO Glock 40, basically Opium Glock 40. And then the Opium member Homicide Bino would reply saying, "You say anything." Again, basically clowning him that he's spreading misinformation. So long story short, Jalen tried to sign Glock 40 Spaz to Opium, but I don't think Glock 40 Spaz wanted to be in Opium. In a couple of songs, he actually dissed Opium. In a song on the album named Von Don't Matter, Glock 40 Spaz would diss Carti saying, "Fuck Playboy Carti." Then further saying that he himself is a real vamp and Carti is a fake vamp. And then on an Instagram live, he dissed him as well.
12 can't stop shit, nigga.
The attention. So unfortunately for...
Bruh! How is he founding Opium if he didn't get Ken? He only got Lone, and then he tried to sign Glock 40 Spads. If he founded Opium, then his say would be the only say, or at least the primary one, and so Glock 40 Spads would be signed. Bruh, he didn't found shit. Yeah, Mark. Man, I was like, yo, maybe Playboy Carti was like just being a solo artist, and then OpiumBaby or Jay, whatever his fuck his name is, he actually had a good idea. Like, yo, you have the clout and influence to start a label. Like, let's start some things like an A&R and blah, blah, blah. Get it going. It looks like Carti found Ken. Like, I think they already knew each other because they're from the same city. Actually, what was it? Ken met Carti through Lil 88, who was a producer, TM88's cousin. And Lil 88's part of Carti's camp. And I think Ken was with Southside or 808 Mafia and met him through Southside at the studio. So like, man, Carti founded Opium. That's all I gotta say. He literally started it. Yes. What the fuck? 00 Hard Rock? Nah, I heard Hard Rock is signed to should I say it? Before I go, I'm gonna dip, but like before I go, I just want y'all to know who Hard Rock is signed to, okay? He is signed to Victor. And apparently he's going on tour with Uzi. So if y'all in a previous stream clip kind of like got the gist of that, that's the situation.